agency and Putin had already given signal to the USA's government of the attacks planned for that day. Similar reports were received from other agencies, such as the Indian and the Mossad. It was seemed that everyone was aware of what had happened, less USA's intelligence service. There are those who believed that the United States government had prior knowledge of the attack and deliberately did not to prevent them. This group of theorists therefore admits the existence of Islamic Jihad and does not question the cause of the collapse of the Twin Towers, but accuses the government of deliberately allowing the terrorists to carry out the attacks. It has received the name of LIHOP, Let It Happen on Purpose. This is my answer.
Okay, the question 4. Was the Pentagon really hit by an airplane? In this question, I have a question, a conspiracy theory, and a official theory. So the question is, how could an amateur pilot fly a commercial plane and after a complicated maneuver crash it into a practically invulnerable building 7-8 minutes after the first report on the possible hijacking of the plane and leave no trace? The conspiracy theory. It was not a commercial Boeing 757 aircraft that crashed into the Pentagon building, but a missile, a small aircraft, or an unmanned aerial vehicle. But since the evidence showed that, in effect, it was a commercial aircraft of American Airlines. The theory focused on questioning the maneuver of the crew and arguing that it was not an Al Qaeda pilot but the Pentagon itself. The official version: remains of the plane, in addition to the black box, were found at the site of the attacks and were catalogued by the FBI, although some initial videos did not show a large amount of debris. Subsequent images did reveal both parts of the aircraft and broken light poles, which would be a sign of the plane's trajectory. Remains of the crew and passengers were identified through the DNA, and witnesses report how the plane crashed into the Pentagon. Okay, this is my answer.
Okay, my answer to this question is one of the most widely disseminated dissenting theories is that it was not an airplane but a missile that crashed into the Pentagon. Its main supporters are those who support the internal war version, who say there is not enough evidence that shows that an airplane crashed in the Pentagon. However, some supporters of the internal war also discard it after assessing the evidence and believe that the operation did not include the use of the missile. According to design theories, Flight 77 was able to fly into the Pentagon for 40 minutes and was not intercepted despite too sophisticated radar technology, the anti-missile batteries surrounding the Pentagon, and the proximity of the Andrews Air Base building. This is my answer.
My answer is American Airlines Flight 77 was the third plane hijacked and was deliberate crashing of the Pentagon, which was the headquarters of the United States Department of Defense. The plane was hijacked by 5 Saudi when they had been in the air for 35 minutes. In the compilation of the event, it cited that the dead people who took the plane entered the cabin and forced the passengers to go to the back of the plane. The hijacked Hani and Kaur took over the flight, and single passenger secretly managed to make a call to his family, and I doubt what was happening. Lee's wife, the plane incident and crashing against the western facade of the Pentagon, where 64 people died inside the plane and the 125 people in the building. It finished.
Okay, the next question is, how the attacks have been prevented? I think that the terrorist attacks of September 11 could have been avoided if the intelligence service of the United States, FBI and CIA, had shared the information they already had and worked together instead of focusing on a power struggle between them. This is my answer.
The microphone is over. The microphone. Active the microphone.
Mute?
Yeah, no. Mayerly.
Mayerly.
Okay, yes, yes. Now.
5. How the
Yeah.
attacks have been prevented. The attacks could have been avoided if the authorities ensured and have paid attention to all the investigation and the results they were throwing about the various terrorist attacks that were planned at the time to this catastrophe that affected the United States and all that the trends of the weakness and lack of the tactics to contain they at any time. This is my question.
This is your answer?
Yes.
Okay. Eh, there were 7 different events in which the attack could be deduced. Are made 1. The Central Intelligence Agency told the White House in a report that a group currently in the United States was planning a terrorist operation. In June 29, Osama bin Laden is named for the first time in a document including a terrorist interview with a Middle East journalist in which bin Laden warned the assistants of an upcoming attack. The CIA, he repeated the warning in later writings. In July 1, a report indicated that the terrorist operation had been delayed but will occur shortly. Some of the writings again remind Bush that the attack time was flexible and that despite any perceived delay, the plane assault was about to take place. In July 9, however, the White House did not take significant steps. On this date, at a meeting of the anti-terrorism group, an official suggests that the staff should be prepared, especially in case of a major attack. The suggestion was hit down, they say, because there would not be time to train anyone. In response, the CIA, he prepared an analysis where he almost begged the White House to accept that bin Laden's danger was real. That same day, in Chechnya, an, an extremist who was known for his brutality and links to Al Qaeda told his followers that it will soon be very big news. This information was transmitted to the White House, providing more data that support the CIA's warnings. However, the alarm signals did not sound. In July 24, President Bush was informed that the attack was still prepared, but that it had been postponed, perhaps for a few months. But the president did not feel that information about possible attacks was sufficient, and instead called for a broader analysis of Al Qaeda, its aspirations, and its story. In response, the CIA he started working since August 6. In August 4, throughout that summer, there were events that could have exposed the terrorist plans of Al Qaeda if the US government had been on high alert in it on August 4th. A Saudi, who was later assigned a role in the 9/12 attacks, was arrested at the airport in Orlando, Florida by a customs agent for considering him suspicious. Excuse me. He was sent back abroad. 2 weeks later, another co-conspirator, Zacharias Moussaoui, was arrested on immigration charges in Minnesota after arousing suspicions at Fly School. But Washington did not react. August 6, President George Bush received a classified review of the true post by Osama bin Laden and his Al Qaeda terrorist network. The document considered as highly secret that was prepared by the US intelligence agencies indicate bin Laden determined to attack in the US. A few weeks later, on 9/11, Al Qaeda achieves that goal. Okay, this is my answer.
Okay, next question. Was Osama bin Laden really captured and killed? The death of Osama bin Laden was announced on May 2, 2011, when elite units of US military they killed Osama bin Laden in the course of a shooting in Abu Dhabi, Pakistan. President Barack Obama publicly reported on the night of May 2 that a small special operation team had killed bin Laden. The soldier who killed bin Laden was Robert O'Neill, a member of the Navy SEALs. The mission, codenamed Operation Lanza de Neptuno, was carried out by units of the Special Naval Warfare Development Group of the United States, elite unit of the SEALs, under the Special Operations Commands of the United States, in coordination with operations of the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA. The Pakistan authorities confirmed that bin Laden died in Pakistan in a clash with the US military. According to the Obama administration, bin Laden's body was thrown into the sea after checking through DNA test that this was indeed the fugitive. Later, the decision not to make public to the photographs and DNA samples that the United States claiming to have was controversial. This is my answer.
This is my answer. There was role of the Osama bin Laden on two elite incident of the US military force who killed Osama. It was a small team of the special operation where the authors of the event killed bin Laden. Who killed it was the soldier Robert O'Neill, member of the Navy SEALs. This mission was named Operation Lancer Neptune. The body of the victim was thrown into the sea after testing DNA prove his identity. These happenings in the Obama administration. Although it is remarked the controversy that the happenings behind all this, and especially the future, the photographed and DNA samples that the United States possessed. Finish.
Okay, so this is my answer. On May 1, 2011, President Barack Obama officially announced that the jihadists had been killed during a special force operation, much American and global. Society breathed a sigh of relief. We got him, he assured. However, the evidence of Laden's death and the way they disposed of the body on the high seas has led many researchers to doubt the veracity of the official version. Is it possible that the most wanted terrorist is still alive? The televised message of 23 will not be the only ones that bin Laden will through the world to explain the reasons for his violent actions. Among them, we could highlight one of the June 29th address to President Barack Obama, in which he accused him of sowing new seeds of hatred and revenge. Until his death in May 2011, bin Laden was missing. It was only known about him through videos that the Qatari network Al Jazeera broadcast. The security forces of half the world, mainly the Americans, were on their trail. He was placed in remote parts of Pakistan, in caves and mountains, but nobody was able to find his whereabouts until that day arrived. On May 1, the so-called Operation Geronimo was launched, and units of the Special Naval War Development Group of the United States, in coordination with the CIA, attacked the terrorist shelter in the town of Abbottabad, Pakistan. The confrontation resulted in the death of bin Laden and four others, including the wife of the Saudi millionaire. The body of Laden appeared completely disarmed and with two shots, one in the left eye and one in the chest. Some resources report that he used his own wife as a human child, although the official version discarded this fact. Once the incident was known, a series of controversies arose that questioned the veracity of the information offered by the American government. Among them, why the terrorists could not be arrested alive, and what was the cause of the helicopter accident suffered by one of the U.S. military operations. Another controversy occurred when bin Laden's body was thrown into the sea to presumably prevent him from becoming a martyr in his country. All this add to the refusal of the United States government to publish the photographs and DNA samples they had collected the day of the incident. From here, numerous investigators suggest that the United States hides the truth of the death of bin Laden. Even Amnesty International denounced the alleged illegality committed as a result of the murder of a completely unarmed man. Osama bin Laden left behind hundreds of attacks, thousands of deaths, 4 wives, and 19 children. One of the request political asylum in Spain in 28, but was denied. With the murder of one of the most wanted terrorists, the United States believed that it would eradicate terrorism. Nothing could be further from the truth. The inheritance of bin Laden is still active, and according to experts in jihadist terrorism, he was never left. He remains strong and is preparing to attack the guest again. Okay, this is my answer. The next question is, was 9/11 caused by American government and purpose? Okay, a first theory suggests that the United States government had prior knowledge of the attacks and deliberately did nothing to prevent them. This hypothesis admits the existence of the Islamic hijackers and does not question the cause of the collapse of the Twin Towers, but accuse the government of deliberately allowing the terrorists to carry out the attacks. The second theory points out that it was the United States government itself that orchestrated and prepared the attacks. This conjecture questions the cause of the collapse of the World Trade Center, and argues that the buildings were implanted with explosives before the events. Despite the large number of interpretations that have been given to attack of the Twin Towers, in the vast majority of them, the authors agree that it was a self-attack thought by American heads in order to justify the bombing of autonomous nations like Iraq and Afghanistan, says the resources of those countries as and enrich themselves through the defense business. Okay, this is my answer.
Okay. Despite all the conspiracy theories, I do not think anyone has irrefutable evidence that the attacks were caused by the US government. Since if they had already come to light to be evaluated and start an investigation and discover the real ones responsible for the attacks. Although there is a conspiracy theory that said it was the United States government itself that orchestrated and perpetrated the attacks in a false flag operation. This group of hypotheses questions the cause of the collapse of the Twin Towers, which would be a controlled demolition. The term inside job has been used to refer the attacks in this group of theories. It has received the name of MIHOP, made it happen on purpose. Okay, this is my answer.
My answer is the attacks that took place in the United States could have been used as the pretext for obtain greater power and demonstrate that despite couldn't many live on the lines of loss. It is possible that when these events occurred, the world only see the opportunity and they will take advantage for the governments of what benefit. There is not evidence of the members who have conspired and obtained perfect silence from different government entities involved in this fact. The government of the United States has affirmed that what happened is a complex conspiracy involving an international terrorist organization. This finish.
Okay, good job. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Momento, momento. Ya.